uncertainty, where we are prone to economic, socio-economic, political, and environmental disruptions, it is imperative to know what are those factors which are affecting business. And first to start with, we are going to talk about the slowdown, the recession, the near to recession scenario. I'm not sure how many of you have really gone through this, but Germany is the first country in the world to announce that it has gone into recession. And it is the fourth biggest fourth biggest economic power in the world. And they've already announced that they have gone into recession. Every other day we come across news articles where the technology giants are announcing that they're going to lay off their employees. For example, Meta, which is part of Facebook, or we know it as Facebook. I don't know if you know that it is Meta. And then Google, Microsoft, and quite a few technology giants have announced that, and quite a few banks as well. You can see they have one bank in the US, a couple of banks in the US. So quite a few things are going to follow, but we'll definitely see what is going to happen in the next couple of months. All along, I'm sure you know what IT services management is, but organizations have to move ahead of IT services. They have to focus on enterprise services. So what are those enterprise services? What do you mean by enterprise service management here? You are going to extend your service management concepts to other departments within the organization. It's just not IT which is actually offering services to your employees. HR is offering some services, finance, travel desk, facilities, more importantly facilities. What happens when your air conditioning goes down? What happens when your chair breaks down? What happens when the table is actually shaking? What happens when you don't have notebooks, papers, and pencils? So the first thing that you have to talk to is facilities and not media. Very honestly, tell me, how many of your employees call you and say, hey, the air conditioner is not working? It's not ideal job, right? It's definitely not ideal job. If the air conditioner is not working, there has to be the facilities. So how do you extend those ideal concepts that we have been talking about in IT? The ideal concepts like incident management, problem management, change, assets, CMDB, configuration management, database, and then release management, project management, knowledge base, data analytics to decision intelligence. Today, we have huge amount of data on the table. In fact, the report said only 32% of the data that is available in the entire world has been tapped. Understand that it's only 32% of the data that is available in the entire world. I mean, it's actually serious. We don't know what is happening with the 68% of the data. If we have tapped all those, we would probably have a better standard of living. Everybody would have had a better standard of living. So with that 32%, we are able to make some decisions. So how do we even tap that when it comes to IT and business? So it's important that we have to know what is there on the table, how much data do we have, how do we even derive decisions out of this data. That's more important. So which is like decision intelligence, which is a combination of artificial intelligence, data intelligence, and business intelligence.
Thank you again for the wonderful insights on the future of technologies, as well as on direction of service display design, as well as management, along with Zoho's mission. So myself, Osik, I'm from the product team of Manageengine Service Displays. Got experience in working with customers across the globe, implementing best practices of service displays, and also performing health checks, trainings, and demonstrations. And today, this is my first time in Nigeria actually presenting, on the topic of building a service management strategy that delivers business resilience and provides a rapid time to value to your organization. You don't have to define the process to your technicians, your agents. Instead, you can teach that to the tool, the software, so that the technician has no other goal to follow this process instead of doing their own kind of approach. So request lifecycle is where you define the process to the application, and these kind of tickets that are security breaches will be handled by service displays. So regards to integration capabilities, so service desk has got REST APIs available within it. So if you have the other application that is capable of handling APIs, then it is possible to have integration start. So you can have, say, I'm not sure about the requirement entirely. Let's say you want to create a ticket based on an action that's done on the other application, yes, that is something possible. It's not just for that, it's not just limited for request creation. We have now improved our APIs in such a way that you can do much more. You can even do admin configurations or even add a user account. Say if you have an HRMS application, a user has added HRMS application, the same user can be populated automatically here in Service Display as well. So yes, that is a possibility.
Let's start with this quadrant. This quadrant is basically derived from a TOHAD window that's used for a psychological activity. So we have written it as is known and unknown. So known and known basically is a faction. So what it refers to, there is a known vulnerability which already has been detected, right? You have a known solution for it that is offered or is being released by the vendor itself, like Microsoft or HP, right? You can accomplish or make sure to solve it with the help of patch management on, right? And the next one that we have, the known and the unknown. So you know about it, it's a known vulnerability, but you're not sure about how to address it, right? So that we call it as blind spot. So what we do here is like we find out by running a vulnerability assessment across the endpoints. And we used to give you like a clean information on the vulnerable options. Like it could be a code or it could be a protocol, whatever it is. We give you those options. Not only a reporting, we also offer you a fixed message. So I've heard from one of the companies they're using 2 minutes for getting the assessment to find out what has been vulnerable. Another one to solve it out. But we are bringing it together.
So this is a traditional network architecture, okay? So when I talk about traditional network architecture, you all know how IT has evolved over the years. We have been talking about identity and access management as a group for more than a decade now. But over the last few years, especially after this COVID, right? What happened is we had to move from the traditional network architecture to a more modernized architecture. The access perimeter for our employees was wide, right? Because a lot of us were forced to enforce work from home, right? Employees had to have access to data, corporate data, from their mobile phones, from homes, from public networks. So this is how this architecture got changed. Now if you look at here, this is your corporate network which you have secured, and for what we have this architecture security that's been there for a decade. But for the last few years, when a user is accessing his data right from all of the other networks, do you think the same level of security is enough for users? Yes? How many of you agree with this? The same level of security is more than enough to secure my environment. Yes? No?
No.
So, what have you done differently in your organization?
Where you have all of the information you need on one unified console to help you identify ongoing attacks, to help you monitor your network, and so much more. So essentially, from now on to the next 10 minutes of my session, I did tell you it will take longer than 30 minutes. So over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how a SIM solution can help you cut through all of the event noise that is generated and help you find the true alerts that you need to be focusing on. So of course, you have all of your data sources. You will come through with, hundreds of thousands, possibly even millions of events every single day. And a SIM solution will be able to use multiple types of correlation to help you cut through that noise and give you insights on what exactly is happening in your network. It will tell you who is doing what, when, and from where. And then with this information, if there is anything that needs to be shown to top management through an alert, if it is something that needs to be taken care of, that will be raised as an alert. You can forward that to an ITIL solution like our own services class, and from there you can resolve it as an incident. And in case you have experienced a ransomware attack, for example, then you can look at that forensics as well and identify the extent of the damage. So all of this is what a SIM solution will help you do. I'm going to show you how Log360 does it. Now, Log360 is a unified SIM solution. We also have integrated DLP and CASB in it. And one of the things that I want to point out is that it collects sources from over 750. It collects data from over 750 log sources. And if you do have a log source that is not one of these 750, you can always use a custom parsing solution, and you can include data from that log source as well. And once you do that, you need to cut down on the amount of noise that is generated and identify whether there is something that really needs to be taken a look at, right? And that is what you can do with Log360. It offers 3 types of correlation. The first one is a rule-based correlation, and this is something that you would configure within Log360 itself. And it essentially helps you set things like if you have someone who has 4 or 5 different failed password logins, and then one success to log on, then that is a potential reverse attack. This is a very simple example of a rule that you can use to identify to reverse attacks. And that is what you can do with the rule-based correlation. The second one is signature-based correlation, and this we do with the help of input from thread feeds, and we have integration to Bedroom, Radianwald OTX, and so many more. And essentially it gives us insight into known malicious IPs and URLs, and if you do experience an attack, we'll be able to correlate that with the known malicious IPs and URLs and tell you that this is the attacker experiencing with signature-based correlation. The last one is behavior-based. Now, of course, we all come from different industries, we are all in different types of companies, we are all at different stages of our security maturation. However, by defining a dynamic threshold that is very unique to your organization, we'll be able to find that if someone who typically logs on between 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning suddenly logs on at 4 p.m., you can find that out with the PPA. That is what behavior-based analytics will help you do. So if it is someone who's logging in with no particular business and then attempts to move critical data outside your enterprise, you'll be able to find that out behavior-based correlation.
At an application level, what do they really want to monitor is they want to get code level visibility into application performance. Second is they want to manage multi-cloud infrastructure. So they want to know application details at a cloud level, different Amazon services, AWS, all the details they want to know. And finally, they also want to monitor end user experience. So let me tell you how Op Manager Plus can do this. So this is with the help of Applications Manager module in Op Manager Plus. Great. So I click on the applications tab that is available, and I'm immediately presented with a similar dashboard. The dashboard is available throughout the product, and you get an idea of the different applications that are being utilized right here. The different infrastructures. Let me show you how you can add an application. How can you discover an application to be monitored into Op Manager? So you click on our discovery, and here you get a complete list of the different applications that are available. You have .NET available, Java, Node.js, and they're all properly classified. Custom monitors, database servers. If you want application monitors for your database servers, they are available here. You can see Oracle, MongoDB, all the popular ones listed here. Your monitors, you can monitor your mail servers. Let's say you have an Exchange server or a mail server that has to be monitored. You can do it right here.
I like to find out and help you out in justifying having a privileged access management solution within your organization. Not just that, you will also be able to understand what are the best ways of deploying a privileged access management solution and how does it help you out. In any organization, there are mainly different types of users. The standard users who use all the typical applications, the laptops and things like that. Power users who have access to a certain application, but not the administrative privileges to reset or to completely delete something. And then you have the privileged users. The privileged users obviously have a lot more administrative privileges, and the moment that gets compromised, your entire organization is at risk. So that's why we need PAM to be in the organization to help safeguard the privileged users. And when I say privileged users, we are talking about the entire spectrum. Your network devices, laptops, servers, storages, website, everything that needs a privileged account needs to be safeguarded, right? So on a basic level, if we have to understand why we need a PAM, It's pretty simple. All the administrator password, I need to put it in one place, and I need to control that. That's the basic level. But let's talk about a few examples where we like to make you understand what are the scenarios in which your administrative credentials can be exposed, right?
With ManageEngine, as you've heard, I'm sure all day today, cybersecurity is indeed something that is taken very seriously, and the ManageEngine continues to lead the way in software applications that are secure, that are easy to use, easy to be trained on, and where you can buy an application or a suite of applications that's indeed affordable. So we are the Rolls Royce that gives you the impression that we are at Toyota price. And not just an impression, it's perhaps the most cost-effective suite of software applications in the world. And this is, how can I say, the evidence of this is the fact that most banks in Nigeria today use ManageEngine products. And now most other organizations are starting to adopt ManageEngine products. And this comes for, it did not come easy. This has been a 15-year or so process. And why people are adopting ManageEngine applications is simply because there's a support mechanism. You don't buy it and be left alone. So our customer service, our after-sales service, our ability to deploy software applications within time and with a very reasonable budget is setting us apart from the competition. And we are going to strive more and more to ensure that ManageEngine is always the first choice in the marketplace.